Rocket Lab qualifies the Hungry Hippo. Third Varda capsule returns to Earth. Starbase gets heavy on both launch pads. Relativity Space shows progress on Terran-R. First in-space satellite service demonstrated. Launches of the week. Hi everyone, I'm Christophe Paget for All About Space, and this is your space update. Rocket Lab is developing his new rocket called Neutron, an all-composite vehicle with a fully reusable first stage and fairings all in one, and a non-reusable second stage stored inside his first stage as a payload. Now, this week, Rocket Lab has presented an update on his Neutron program. They have completed the qualification test of the payload deployment mechanism along with the canard, essential as a guidance system to return precisely to his landing pad. That was the qualification test of the Hungry Hippo. Rocket Lab has also advertised his latest contract from the US Air Force Research Lab to test the point-to-point global cargo delivery. The payload will be launched on Neutron and returned to Earth in a demonstration of re-entry capability for future missions. Varda did it again. They have successfully launched a satellite in orbit and re-entered the atmosphere for the third time and landed, this time in the Kuniba test range in South Australia. Now, while the previous two flights were designed to demonstrate pharmaceutical manufacturing in the vacuum of space, this third flight was designed for the US Air Force to test an advanced inertial measurement unit to advance scientific understanding of the high hypersonic re-entry environment with speeds reaching Mach 25. The company said that this mission will provide unprecedented data to advance next-generation space and defense capabilities and continue to provide hypersonic environments to the re-entry test community in a low-cost approach. At Starbase, the Massey site saw the Starship number 35 going back to Massey and getting through its static fire tests to validate the changes made on it to prevent reoccurrence of in-flight explosion during flight tests 7 and 8. Now, this ship is due to take part in the next flight test number 9, sometimes this month or next. And at the launch site, the massive launch mount number 2 was placed on its feet on top of the flame trench. The booster number 14, the one to fly for the second time, on the flight test number 9, has been rolled out to the pad and placed on the launch mount, a sign that the Flight 9 is closer approaching. As for the production site, the portion of the Star Factory was now completely removed to make ways for the Gigabay. One of the SpaceX test tanks is on his way to be tested at Massey's site. The interesting observation, amongst many, is the addition of metallic tiles on the bottom tank dome, a new thermal protection system not seen on current ships or boosters so far. Relativity Space is working on a larger rocket called Terran-R. This rocket design, manufacture, and testing is progressing well. Now, this week, Relativity Space has shared its update on the program. We could see that a tremendous amount of parts has been produced and is being assembled together, ranging from friction steer-welded barrels to pre-assembled dome sections and composite overpressure vessels, and many more parts are still being machined. They are working on numerous engines and even tested at NASA Stennis, checking all flight profiles, including testing thrust, vector control, or gimbaling the engine. They are preparing for their full-scale structural tests, along with testing the avionics on the ground. At Launch Complex 16 in Cape Canaveral in Florida, the first steel columns for Terran-R's horizontal integration facility were erected, and Relativity Space is really making good progress. The Mission Extension Vehicle 1, or MEV-1, was the first commercial spacecraft designed to extend the life of other satellites in orbit. Now, developed by Northrop Grumman Space Logistics, its primary function is to dock with the host satellite in this case Intelsat IS-901, that is running low on fuel but is otherwise functional, and then uses zone propulsion and attitude control systems to keep the host satellite to its correct orbital position. Intelsat IS-901 was launched in 2001 and was running out of fuel by 2020. MEV-1 docked to it and gave the satellite another 5 years life, or 26% mission extension. And Intelsat IS-901 has now moved to a graveyard orbit. MEV-1 is not finished with it and is now on his way to support another satellite in geostationary orbit, the Optus D3 satellite, an Australian telecommunications satellite. I am thrilled to see that we now can minimize the waste by servicing many satellites with the same service satellite. May 10th, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 from California for a Starlink mission Group 15-3. The first stage flew for the 14th time and landed on the drone ship Of Course I Still Love You. On the same day, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 from Florida for a Starlink mission Group 691. The first stage flew for the 11th time and landed on the drone ship A Shortfall of Gravitas. Actually, one of the fairing halves have been reused 30 times, which is another record for SpaceX. On May 11th, CASC launched a Long March 6A from China for its mission Yaogan 40 Group 2. 3 Chinese reconnaissance satellites officially reported as electromagnetic environment detection test satellites. May 12th, CASC launched a Long March 3CE from China for its mission TJSW-19, a Chinese classified satellite claimed to be for communication technology test purposes. May 13th, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 from California for a Starlink mission Group 15-4. The first stage flew for its 6th time and landed on the drone ship Of Course I Still Love You. On the same day, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 from Florida for a Starlink mission Group 683. The first stage flew for the 28th time, a new record again for SpaceX, and landed on the drone ship Just Read the Instructions. May 14th, CASC launched a Long March 2D from China for its mission Space Computing Constellation, with 12 satellites on board dedicated to space computing, a trend we are going to see more and more. On the same day, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 from Florida for a Starlink mission Group 667. The first stage flew for the 4th time and landed on the drone ship A Shortfall of Gravitas. In summary, from January 1st until May 15th, 2025, 101 rockets were launched successfully, and out of that, 66 were from an American company or institution and 26 from China. I leave you this week with a picture from Trevor Jones taken from his back garden of Thor's helmet, also known as NGC 2359 in the constellation Canis Major, some 15,000 light years away from us. The name of this nebula stems from its striking resemblance to the helmet of the famous Norse god of thunder and lightning seen in the Viking mythology, or for the younger audience, Thor as the Marvel Studio movie. Thor's helmet is an emission nebula composed of cosmic dust and gas with an ionized hydrogen-rich region, for a simpler explanation. Thank you for watching your channel all about space. See you at the next episode of Space News.